40 chess. Yeah. 40 chess. 40 chess. Let's get it.
Yo, is that T-Dog?
40 chess. 40 chess. Hey. 40 chess. This a trade show. Patreon where the trades go. Tap in and watch. That's what you came for. Ain't gotta say my name. They know my name, bro.
What's good, man?
We got McNutted in ATM. Always start off the show with a trade from them. You should always make sure that your trade is in Patreon. Why not be a Patreon? Know you wish you could spend every day with them. Tap in and say what you gon' say with them. South Harmon can fill up a stadium. Next time you log in, make sure that you bring a friend. We about to kick off, let the day begin. Go follow the socials. 40 Chess FF is posted. If your trade is an F, you get roasted. Go like and subscribe for the crew. Apple, Spotify, and the YouTube. You know Cooper got the warp too. Let us give you a walkthrough. 40 Chess. This is 40 Chess.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. So glad you could join us. Big shout out to our sponsors, Ultimate Autograph, signed sh.it. Go win you something. I did see an order had just come through on the affiliate link. Somebody went out. Hopefully, tag us if you won something, man. I want to see. Partly because I'm jealous. Adam's just like, he's so excited he put himself on mute. Don't care.
What did we end up with, man? You know, I want to hear. I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know. If you want your deals featured, patreon.com/South Harmon, $5 tier. Boop, drop your trades. We might roast you. We might praise you. We might pass you over because the deal is junk. That's blitz.
We might skip, you know. Speaking of, speaking things into existence, Mike, shout out to our new sponsor, Red Bull, hopefully, one day, after I've drank about, 3,000 of them on stream. But, Mike, if you do want your deals featured on the show, like Mike is about to have two, making up for my lack of having one here, Mike is going to give you a couple different trades. If you want to be a part of it, patreon.com/South Harmon. $5 a month gets you into the Discord portion where you get to put your trades in the completed trades channel. Mike, what'd you do to people, man? What did you do to this poor, absolute poor soul? DR44 with a fish helmet says 12-team Superflex, PPR, best ball start 11, all flex. He's flexing on this Jermaine Burton love, hopium. It's not like Burton, but a 25 first of the team you're sending Burton to. Mike, what do we got here? Did you fire this off? Or did this just sit in your inbox? Like, what are we talking about here? What happened?
Nope. No, I got no excuse for this one. This one just came to my inbox, and I made sure that I calmed myself down. I read it twice to make sure that I wasn't the first going away. Like, we got this right. I'm getting the first.
No, I don't want your Burton, you know?
You gotta go to my wife. Like, baby, are you reading this right? Like, I'm McNutted. Who's getting the first? Oh, she's like, you are in this one. Okay, say less. Hit the button. Done. Quick before he changes his mind.
What a
no counter, nothing.
What a dream scenario. Did we have some eruption in the chat or?
Yeah. There was a little bit of a shock value.
Did he? Was he doing defense? The whole defense thing? Or?
Oh yeah. Listed out or took a screenshot of like total league record since the league's been there. Like, I know what I'm doing. And then the whole, I sent this offer in a bunch of high stakes leagues. Like, we got to put that in there. High stakes leagues in quotations.
And no one
and
else.
it got rejected.
Yeah, it got rejected.
You know, the classic. Do you got any defense for this one? Because I think this one's pretty home run, like easy slam dunk. Like, I don't.
No. I mean, how? What are we defending? I mean, listen,
I don't know.
I think Jermaine Burton actually could end up being, somebody that was drafted lower than he could have been relative to his talent because of things off the field, all that. I understand it. You know, the landing spot, the opportunity with T. Higgins possibly leaving. But there's a lot of, like, me trying to explain you the scenario of how it could hit, Mike, right? Even if it does hit, Mike, let's even say it does. Let's just fast forward to a world, which we're not in today, that it does hit. Maybe it's worth a 25 first. Like, it could be. Like, I see the scenario where he's worth a 25 first. I don't see that today. But I'm just saying, in the range of outcomes, you to make this move for me, right? I'm betting on so many things that just aren't going to happen. Like, I'd have to know that Jermaine Burton's actually going to play well, and to a point where, like, he's meaningful to where I'm getting off of a 25 first with the idea that Burton not only is going to be valuable for points per game in my lineup, which is unlikely for rookies to do in and of itself, and then not just that, I got to feel like, all right, he's going to have a chance to be worth a first and a second this time next year or something like that. It doesn't make sense to me.
So if you're listening to this, hopefully you listen to our podcast. Big shout out to our podcast feed. If you're not aware, we have a podcast feed, South Harmon. Go check it out. Right? But we did the 4D chess episode on rookie hit rates, Adam. And in their first 3 years, rookie third-round wide receivers to even hit a wide receiver 3 season, you come in at 16% hit rate. That's a bad bet. That's a bad bet if you ever wanted to make a bad bet. I'm being nice. No, that's just a wide receiver 3 season, Adam. In 3 years. Maybe you could talk yourself into a scenario that dude be worth a future first at some point. That's tough. This is a tough bet.
I mean, I don't know if people like factor this into, like, I don't think you should, frankly. But it's a best ball league where it's 2 super flex, no quarterback. So I don't know if people like devalue the quarterback even further than the ludicrousy that quarterbacks are at the moment. But like at the end of the day, the 25 class isn't built on quarterback value anyway. So, yeah, I can't do it, man.
What if this team is bad?
Well, I was actually kind of looking at the team, by the way, just for the record, Mike here. So it's a good team, but I do see one of these things where the fallacy of relying on a ton of these rookies, which right now at the moment have ADP value associated with them, which the lab props up based on ADP value. But like realistically, you're going to have to put some more, old heads in this team, I think, to make it more in the mix. Right now, value-wise, it's certainly in the mix of being a contending team, but you can't tell me for certain that is going to locked into the playoffs. Like I think I see the scenario where it is a playoff team, but Mike, if it ends up being a 105 to 107, that's even crazier for you. You know what I mean?
I don't have a lot of like rebuttal, Adam. I know what I did.
Yeah, let's move on from this flex to a new flex. All right, let's go to this flex here, buddy.
I knew what I did.
Let's talk about the quarterback hoard thing you have going here. So in this trade here, we have 12-team Superflex PPR lineup start 10. It's the League of Ordinary Gentlemen. All right, so we got Shannon getting Justin Fields, and Mike is getting JSN from this. So Mike, this is, I'm assuming, where you had Justin Fields. I don't know if you traded for him recently or if you had the value higher that now is cratered, but regardless, whether you acquired it now or later, Justin Fields is an asset that's been trending. You just look at ADP over the last 2 months, and you don't even need to understand the story of Pittsburgh and Russell Wilson and all that. But he's being drafted well after JSN at this point. Straight up, you're getting JSN for Justin Fields, who right now is not even a starting quarterback in a quarterback hoard. Like normally, you get off of one of your starting quarterbacks in a QB hoard. This one, you're trading off of the non-starting, hopeful starting quarterback in Pittsburgh. How does this happen?
Well, it happens when you have basically every first-round pick. This is the one I put on Twitter, I don't know, a few weeks back. And people are like, oh, you fumbled this draft. You made all these picks. Well, this is why I took all those quarterbacks. Like, I had to go look at the roster. I took almost every rookie quarterback you could take. Every one of them. Caleb, Daniels, May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix. I missed out on J.J. McCarthy. That was it.
I was going to say, I'm counting, doing the math here. I'm like, there's one that's missing, McCarthy.
I missed out on one. But I had Watson, and I already had Fields on the roster. This was a bad team. I finished the 101. Had some pieces, but I diabolically tanked just to have almost all of the first round in the NFL draft in 2024. And it worked out. Nobody wanted to trade for the picks, or, I didn't really shop them around, but, I get on the clock, I just go ahead, oh, shit, I could have all these quarterbacks? Sure. And I'm still going to get wide receivers later with basically the same amount of hit rate chance as the other guys. Why not? So I went ahead and did it. Now, when you get people who come in the league and all of a sudden they go, man, all five out of 6 first-round quarterbacks are gone. I don't have any choice whatsoever. I got the quarterback horde, right? I got 7 quarterbacks on my roster with dynasty value. Fields included, because there's a possibility he's going to start. So what do you got to do to go get one? You better send me an offer of a player that I can possibly put into my lineup. And I don't need a quarterback back. I don't need you to pollute the deal with anything back. So this is how you get a QB horde trade done. Right? I don't ask for the moon. This actually got sent to me, and I was like, well, too good to say no to. Check, done. Guy backup, which I'd have a tough time trying to figure out where in the hierarchy of quarterbacks would I put, versus a wide receiver I'm still high on. Now, some people hate JSN. That's fine. But he kind of fits the team. And that's why when you go and you look at the team on the lab, by far and away the number 1 in dynasty value and by far and away the number 1 in redraft value. This is my favorite league that I've been at, just because it's bent over a barrel with multiple 25 picks still to go. Flush at quarterbacks, flush at wide receiver, just kind of roster constructed the exact way that my diabolical ass really likes to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this, and I see the scenario. What's really interesting. So, Mike, I find it funny, and I guess I kind of understand it to a degree. Just I'm not there. So Shannon, for the record, and Shannon, understand there's nothing personal about this here to you as a person, but he has Russ on this team, right? So it's like, okay, just give me the quarterback room, and in a way I get that, but I look at this team, Mike, that he has 325 firsts, a couple seconds. This is I'd say, I hope at least it's an idea of getting better in the future, right? So I'm looking at Justin Fields, Kyler Murray at quarterback and Superflex. I'm looking at Jonathan Brooks, Marvin Harrison Jr., all those 25 first. You sprinkle in some, Terry McLaurin, guys that just have some value, right? But, if you assume that Justin Fields eventually is going to get this job from, Russ, sure. But, how do you tell me that's for sure that Fields at that point is going to be more valuable than JSN when he's a young receiver too? That's where I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it here, frankly, for him. I know crazy things happen when you have a quarterback horde going, and I know that probably factors in here. But I struggle with this one for him.
I don't know if he got trapped too, because he took this over as an orphan. Right? So he came in and took over a team that was built to compete, and then that's how he got these picks, was here in the last week or so, trading away a bunch of this for a bunch of draft capital in 25. So I don't know if this was the first move to hey, let me try to run it back. And then when it didn't really work, he couldn't get some other vet deals done, said, screw it, I'm blowing this thing up to the moon. And now you're kind of stuck in this in-between mode. I don't know. I can't speak to where Shannon was. I just know for my team it made a hell of a lot of sense, where it was yeah, sure, you want a quarterback? Sure, take a backup guy that I'm not even really planning on starting. And let me get a young, promising wide receiver, even though some people are a little down on him. I'm still very high on.
No, I like JSN quite a bit. I also think that, with him, I think about the situation, the offense that was, with Pete Carroll running things, much more run first. And I think about the offense that's supposed to open up here, whether it's Geno or Sam Howell for this next year. I think the pass volume goes up. I think that he's going to start becoming more of the guy that we saw in at least the second half of the season, getting a lot more opportunity, a lot more targets. I think there's a chance for him to be actually, surprisingly, based on what I thought last year, what we'd be looking at right now, I think there's a chance for what he is today. He's a value in a year from now. But, Mike, I mean, with your team, why not? What's not in it for you? This team has a bunch of young receivers. You have tons of young quarterbacks still, and all you're really looking to do is, make maneuvering trades to shape your roster as the season goes along, right? I feel like this is one of those teams it's kind of like it's all right there. It's an amoeba, right? But you're going to end up shaping this damn chaotic, insane value roster into what you want it to be.
That's an asset. Maybe I can trick somebody into paying too much for a Kincaid or a Bowers or,
Sure.
and just run with our guy Noah Fant or our other guy Tucker Kraft, and that's going to be the tight end room. But running backs just took a bunch of like random dudes, right? Young guys. If they pop, if they don't, who gives a shit? Any RB on a 53 approach. But the rest of the team is draft capital, shit ton of quarterbacks, and a shit ton of wide receivers. Like that's kind of the clay that you want to start with for building a super dynasty contender.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say enough said for me. Let's go to Rough Riders for life, Mike. This is a 12 for life, baby. 12-team Superflex PPR lineup start 10. So, Mike, in this deal, we get Bryce Young. What is Bryce Young worth here? A 25 first, 25 second, 26 second, and the cratering value of Michael Wilson. Now, Mike, where are you at here?
Is he paying this in a lineup start 10? I'm also very okay as like the Bryce Truther sending him away for this package in this. Like, I'm very okay. The Michael Wilson part is whatever. Like, I'm good. That's probably just going to end up being a roster clogger. I know somebody's going to get mad. Be like, oh, you slobber.
No. Lineup start 10, Rough Riders for life. All right, stop it.
I'm good, man. But a first and 2 seconds in the future. I don't mind getting that back, especially if you can afford to get off of Bryce Young. Like, if you're good at your quarterback spot, or you got some depth, or he was your QB3, sure. Why not? Liquidate it. Even me as the Bryce Young truther, like, I'm fine with it. I don't know. What do you think about it? You like I can get behind the Obi side other than the Michael Wilson. I would have rather that just been a running back. Just toss somebody in there. Tyrone Tracy, Kamani Vidal, whatever. Just give me a body at running back.
As opposed to Wilson, sure. I mean, I kind of view Wilson as the toss in that, like, I don't really care about, but you just put him in the deal type of a thing. I'm looking at I want to look at the rosters before I really give like a true assessment because, all right, so right now if I'm DB Woo, right, I acquire Bryce Young to round out my room that was Baker and A-Rich. So I already had A-Rich and Baker, quarterback 1 and 2. I feel great about that, frankly. Those two. You make Bryce the quarterback 3. Before it was Gardner Minshew, which realistically we don't know if it's going to be him or Aiden. Now let me just go ahead and go take a look at Obi's side. So Obi in this deal.
He didn't need Bryce Young.
No, like this is a deal that's so much better for Obi, man.
Yes.
Like this is the point of having the excess quarterbacks. This is funny coming off of your trade, Mike. This speaks to a little mini quarterback hoard he has going as well. So
yep.
He already has, let's just acknowledge, like the Kenny Pickett value. He took a big – it's a shit from where it was, right? But he has Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett as, I'd say more turtling burgers, right, that are you see what happens. But then you have Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, as well as Bryce Young he had here before this trade, to go with Jordan Love and Josh Allen. Right, so you have 5 quarterbacks in that top 24 range. And that are all young and appealing. And to me, Mike, you got off of the interesting part. See, I think about this. This is where I think why it's so good for Obi. Bryce Young in values right now, right or wrong, is definitely the worst of those 5 guys that he had. So if you get off of the worst of the 5 guys, which is coming off of a really bad season, ahead of market value, what are we talking about? Right, like I think that's the other thing in the quarterback where people kind of – that's where for me it's a little more dicey doing it now is because if the market – when I have a quarterback hoard going, Mike, I'm trying to get you to pay at least market or a little above. I think realistically if you're trying to bend everyone over a barrel, you better have the top 10 guys. Otherwise, you're not going to get people to pay out the nose for them. But so that's where it's a little harder for me because the market value on a lot of these guys is gross. But if you're telling me that I can get off of my 24th ranked quarterback, right? My 5th on my team, quarterback 24 and keep trade cut for a 25 first and then 2 future seconds. So I get all this liquidity and get to keep those other 4 quarterbacks. This is exactly what you were begging for, looking for in a QB hoard. This is easy money. And Obi, like, I get it for him. I just not ahead of market value. I can't do it.
Yeah, for DB Wood, looking at it, like, didn't really fit your roster to go overpay for that. And for Obi, it fits perfectly. Just
25
very
first,
similar
cool.
to what I already had. Yeah.
You give me a 20 if you're sending your 25 first of this other team. By the way, Mike, I think that's another thing that we are like a little under talking about is that the 25 first and the 25 second are coming from the team that's like ridiculously goon squatted up. So, okay, like I get it. 25 first, late, locked in, 108 worst, probably 111, 112. A lot. It fits the bill a little more, but this 50 shades of green, which I guess maybe if it's a rebuilding team, could be not as early. But I just think, Mike, this is too much value. I can still, even if you pencil that in late on those seconds, I can still move that for plenty of, very good assets when I need to.
Even if it is a late first, right, it gives them a third in the class, right? And then we start talking about some of those values of having the market cornered on future picks. Like, that's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have. 3 firsts, 2 seconds.
And I feel like that part anyway is very undervalued and appreciated is, how do I speak to this? Like, okay, if I have a late first, right, that I'm trying to trade for a player, you're going to have a very set range of players that are off limits probably, right?
Correct.
If I come with 2 firsts and add a late first to that, see, that's the thing that people kind of miss. If you have them in excess, Mike, I can hide a late first into a package of 3 firsts and get the 3 first value. And that is a totally different thing than just having Bryce Young, right? Or having a late first.
Much different.
So, yeah, give me Obi side. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Horde, stand up.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan, the QB hordes are back. Oh, damn. I was hoping we keep the streak going with quarterback hordes. This one apparently is going to leave that. Let's go Legion of Doom, though, Mike. 12-team Superflex, PPR, half-tight and premium. Lineup start 10. Man, half-point tight end premium. There's no excuse for this. DK Metcalf, a 25 first and a 25 second, Mike. For Cortland Sutton, first of all, in a lineup start 10, at this point, feeling very cloggy to me. Like, I'm not going to say truly a roster clogger, but he's getting to the point of I'm not as interested in this format. And then Sam Laporta. I know Sam Laporta's dope. And I know even in this format, like, he could end up being one of the top, 2, 3, 4 guys or whatever. The upgrade from Metcalf to Sutton to me already is massive. And then
Huge.
I'm probably selling Laporta for a first and a second anyway.
Correct. That was the thing I was going to get at. I think even in this format where tight ends don't really matter, which they don't. Sorry if we hurt some feelings. I'd probably be okay liquidating the Sammy Paul game at the end of the day for just a random first and second.
Right. So that's where, like, if you're telling me the tax I'm making you pay is the DK to Sutton thing, sure.
So no matter how you slice it, if that was your thing, then you get the upgrade of DK over Sutton, massive. Or if you wanted to say Sam Laporta for DK Metcalf straight up, which I would also do in this format where tight ends don't really matter, then I got a first and a second for DK or for Cortland Sutton. Holy shit! Hey, lo and
Mike,
behold, I pull up the
tell you-
multi-year warp, and tight ends don't matter. Who knew?
Mr. Wonderful, you're wrong for this, by the way. All right, because Mike, I type in Zach Hughes. Zach Hughes, if you're watching this, trust me when I tell you, there's no ill will to you. As a matter of fact, you should join patreon.com/South Harmon. I think we'll help you out quite a bit. This poor guy's got 4 teams in Dynasty, Mike. And the Dynasty ranks anywhere from 10 to 12.
Oh no!
And I just know that this pick actually is his 25 first. And Mr. Wonderful, you're sick. You're wrong. You're not wonderful at all. This is Mike, this team in redraft total is very on the fence, right, of making the playoffs. Like, right hanging in the thread, hanging in the balance. But when you do the Dynasty total, it's almost the bottom of the bottom. And that, to me, that just means, and I look at his roster, and this is a team that's just
struggling.
It's on the, I just can't do, this is bad, man. I can't do this, brother. Like, I look at this roster and I just think all the things that could happen. I can't do it.
So, DK was a .065 WAR per game last year in this specific league. Okay. And Sam Laporta was a little better at .071. No matter how you slice it, I mean, like, straight up, okay, that's fine. Even if you said, like, oh, you should probably favor Laporta, that's fine. But for that little bit of a gain in point per game, doesn't lend me Cortland Sutton for first and second. Like, it just doesn't. There's nothing about that says that's fair. And then, you add in you just digging into it to a bad roster and basically thief, Mr. Wonderful, a thief.
Absolutely awful. And now I'm looking at, you already had T.J. Hawkinson on this team too. It's just,
oh my God,
no, get this trade out of here, Mr. Wonderful. That's not the type of thing you're supposed to do here. All right, Mike. I don't know.
I can't give him shit. I got a first for Jermaine Burton to start
I saw
the
that.
show.
Mike, I don't know here. We'll see if we can actually make sense of this trade. We have the settings. I don't know if the startup has been finished yet, so we'll see.
What the hell? What is this? This is all it cost in a lineup start 9 to get into the mid-second round of a startup?
It says Superflex for the record. Yeah.
Adam, I don't like to trade away my future first in at this time, whether it's an existing league or I'm in a startup. But I'll tell you all day of the week for the 205, you can fucking have my first. Just take it.
Well, Mike, so what's interesting, we don't – the startup is still going on, so we don't know exactly what the player is. But, Mike, I actually did a video and I talked about this where, to me, Mike, in lineup leagues, right, I basically want to hold my playoff – or my first playoff. I want to hold my first until closer to the playoffs and that I know that I'm in the playoffs now, right? We talk about in lineup, especially versus best ball, the variance being such a big thing. And I talked about how the exception to the rule for me, Mike, is that I'll basically send it away if I know I'm getting a value-insulated player, meaning that if things break wrong, whether that's injury or points per game, they shit the bed, or they're a young guy, like a Drake London type, right, where, okay, like, yeah, he didn't do shit for you in points per game, but we're going to make excuses. Those are the scenarios where I'll send my 25 first in anyway, because if it all breaks wrong, I'm basically still protected. I still have this great value. Mike, 205 is a player where I don't know who he selected. That's the only thing. But, like, that player, in theory, offers points per game and offers value insulation. Fuck my 10-12. I mean, like, this is not even... I'm trying to think, like, the only scenario where I would, like... Even then, I'd probably be okay. Like, Christian McCaffrey would break the rule in this range. That's like the one person in the 205 that you might take where I'm like, it's still a better value for the person getting Christian McCaffrey, but he's not value insulated. Everybody else in that range is value insulated, man.
So I had to go look and see what Patty McDaddy and Ben Doggy had, like, put in this. All right. Jesus. I don't even know what the fuck's going on here. I don't want to dunk on Ben Doggy, but, like, the 205 side versus the 10 is Jesus Christ. What are we doing?
No,
why?
You have to dunk on him. There's no other way.
Well, his first deal that he made, right, that he posted in here, and I assume it's the same name, right, Ben Doggy. The first name in here, he put, so he traded his 108, a third, and his 24, so the startup 17th round pick, right? And he got back a 12th, the 208, and a future first. That's not bad. That's a nice pickup. That's like, okay, I traded out of the first round, moved back into the mid part of the second round, plus I picked up somebody else's future first. Smash. Like, I'm with you. You killed it. Now, if this was the opposite and you traded the 205 and you'd gotten like a third and a future first, something of that ilk, I would have been fully on board. Like, Jesus Christ, you're killing the startup. But you absolutely nuked everything you did in the first one with this bad one of getting just a 10th round pick and a future first for a very, very, very good player. Like Adam, top 17 player, for fuck's sake, in a startup.
I mean,
I'll give you a 10th rounder and a future first all day. I don't even give a shit if I finish as the fucking 101 in 2025.
no, that's what I'm saying, because
I'm just so insulated with that player.
right, that's what I'm saying, where it's like, okay, you telling me worst case scenario, Mike, like if I lost it all, I'm talking absolute worst case scenario of worst case scenario, right? Like 101 next year. Maybe I lost a touch, but realistically, nothing to break my entire dynasty team over. It's just there's nobody in that range, I think, Mike, that can lose that much value other than probably Christian McCaffrey. If you took a McCaffrey and then he got hurt and now it's like significantly cratered. That's the only person literally in that range.
And just the way startups have been going with the amount of like good quarterbacks fading, leaking into that mid part of the second round, like, geez, that could be Kyler Murray, Adam.
Dude, absolutely. Kyler Murray, Jordan Love. You could be looking at.
So let me ask you, if I put names to it, like, and I try to put the safest ones that I believe in. Say that 10-12 you landed Michael Penix or Bo Nix with that pick.
Okay.
Michael Penix and Bo Nix in your future first or Kyler fucking Murray.
I mean,
in a lineup start 9 Superflex league. Jeez,
for the record,
not even close.
Penix is 10-01, right? So let's even say somehow he falls to 10-12, right? Penix in the 25 first. Mike, it'd have to be Penix and 103 or better in 25 first for me to come off of, or even consider coming off of a Kyler, right?
Yeah. Easily.
I think I'm trying to make a case. I'm trying to make a case. Yo, it's 100%.
I'm not.
No.
If I were going to make a case, that 10-12's got to be a much better pick. Like, I don't care about the trade down. Like, that's okay. That's the
for the record,
direction you
Penix
wanna
is
go
the
and pick up
best
offers.
case 10th round person, right? Realistically.
Yeah. What would that have to be? The 5th, 6th?
I think Mike for
7th?
me. I think Mike for me, realistically, to do this deal, I'm in the 5th.
Let me get your 5th round pick and your first, and you can move up to the 205.
I'd probably make the case for the 6th. I just feel like right now, Mike, the 5th gives me a chance. If I was to tear down, like I could be looking at now a May, a McCarthy in a first. I'd be willing to make a type of tear down like that for a Kyler, even in a lineup start 9 if I knew I had the opportunity to build the rest of my team up appropriately, right? Like,
Yes.
I don't want to, because Mike, if I go to the 6th, the problem for me is, because in this range 205, I'm already, the way my brain is, this is high-end wide receiver or great quarterback in Superflex.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to round 6 where now we're talking about there's no quarterbacks in that range because they all go to the 7th, which we're now at Bryce, we're now at Kirk, we're now at Watson. Like, we're at a different tier, right? So to me, it's got to be probably an early 5th, Mike, to make this deal. I'm just not doing it this high. I'm not doing it for a guy that's – there's 10, 11 quarterbacks, depending on your draft, going in the first 2 rounds. They're the ones you want. They're the ones you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing this.
I think it's too cute, and I'm with you. In this format, lineup start 9, like, that's got to be a 5th or better for me. If it was best ball, I'm a little bit more apt to, a 6th or a 7th.
In best ball, Mike, I could make this case for a 7th round pick. I'd go up to a 7th. But even then, just understand, Mike, that's in best ball. Totally different animal. And we're talking about 3 rounds earlier. We're saying we'd do it.
This
is almost the 11th round. This is basically the 11th round.
You had a great first trade. Of course, Blitz didn't pull that one. He pulled the other one, the shitty one.
That's tough
Love it.
scene. All right, Mike. This is an interesting one. Dynasty douchebags, 12-team Superflex half PPR lineup start 9. The Terry McLaurin, Devontae Adams thing. Okay, so obviously the age of Adams is significantly higher. Terry's starting to get to the point where there is no youth anymore. Those days are over, right? So at this point, I think where this is an interesting trade is it's now a bet of, while McLaurin probably has definitely longer to go, does he actually see the thing with McLaurin now where it's tough is does he actually give you meaningful points, right? Because at this point in your age, his points that he's been putting up aren't consistent enough to mean fucking anything. So attaching a third to say, you know what, I'll forego 3 years of mid production, which at this point, if Terry keeps doing what he's doing, it's mid production realistically in a lineup start 9, right? So attaching a third to that to go hope to get 1 year of Davante Adams is kind of the bet you're making if you're Joe Fest here. Where are you at on this trade? Curious.
I lean the McLaurin in the third side because I think it's an equal bet for both of them, though I do understand it. Once you got closer to like August or in season, like maybe in the first couple weeks of September there, Adam, if you wanted to go to Adams and trade McLaurin for the third, like that's kind of where I would, all right. If that's your bet that you're making, I'd be more on the Adams side. It's just doing it in May, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Just give me the liquidity, the extra pick, and essentially I'm making the same bet between the two players. Right? This is the classic tier down for me, where they're in the same tier, essentially. And I think they both should be valued the same, and I would imagine in startups, at least from what I've seen, Adam, they kind of go in about similar ranges. There's always like either McLaurin or an Adams, and it's like, oh man, we're in double-digit rounds here, like the 10th round, for example, of the previous trade. Like, what the fuck is this guy still doing out here? So, if that's kind of the sentiment of the community and market value in May, like, yeah, just give me the extra piece. Even in a lineup start 9, I know third rounders in 2025 hit rate charts, which we just talked about, probably not a good bet, like NFL draft capital, but I'll take all the extra liquidity and like extra pieces where you talked about some previous deals. Sometimes you can hide some dog shit just by adding some extra shit into it where it's like, oh, okay, I get 2/3 in this deal instead of just one. It gives me that flexibility. So I got to make a determination. I'll take Terry in the third here between the two, which I don't mind it. I wish the Adams side, like the deal had been done closer to the season.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get your criticism of the timing. For me, in this format, lineup start 9, half PPR, I do feel like my third at this point is probably like that's in reserves to probably buy like a running back spot start or some shit like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times in these type of markets, they don't give you a lot. To your point, you could definitely package it and maybe get a little extra bump. I think I am in agreement that this is a move I'd prefer to make more in August. I will say though, Mike, to defend it a little more, if I know in my market that thirds are basically fucking dog shit, like if this, a lot of times on lineup start 9, thirds are treated like they're literally garbage. A lot of times I'll try to pile them up then, but if that's the case, Mike, there's a scenario where if that's truly the case, this trade you can't do in August. So I could understand making it now if you know your league inherently, and this is like you got to be early to do it because right now there's a little value around youth picks. I get it. My biggest thing is this. I understand. We've seen Adams do it, Mike. We have seen Adams be a producer. I think even still this year he could be a producer regardless of whether it's Ayton or Minshew. But I'll say this, Mike. I'm not super interested in betting on McLaurin's rise with Daniels. I think there's a range of outcomes. But, Mike, I feel like here's the thing for me with Adams. An injury takes place for Adams. Like that value probably goes to nothing. I think the safer play is Terry. I think the go for the jugular play is Davante Adams, and you're risking it here. But I can get behind it if this is a league where you're ready to go, you're ready to win, and you're feeling like, fuck it. It's a third-round pick. It's Terry. I know I'm probably not going to be able to trade Terry for a haul to anybody else. I'm just trying to go for the jugular, and if it fails, it fails. I get the concept here. I think it's probably appropriate for either side. I'd probably be on board with the Adams if I knew in the league that you could not get this deal done in August when the redraft mindsets really kick in.
Yeah, true. Interesting deal. Not egregious. We've had some
far more egregious than this.
Far more egregious. So we'll take this one. It's a good discussion.
I'm looking at it too, Mike, and I see Joe Fest is very much right in the mix of these top teams when I'm looking at like the redraft starters. Actually, right at the top. I get it, man. I get it. I understand this one. So, Mike, this team is Kyler and Dak, Bijan and Etienne at running backs, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and now Devontae Adams is the the extra piece. Like, okay, if any of these guys get hurt, like, or if I need, to throw in an extra flex here, like James Conner's not starting, like that's my extra flex. I get it.
Here's the thing, little digging. I'm pretty sure you put the wrong league name on there because
okay.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's and Dynasty Dipshits.
Okay, well then maybe it's Dynasty Dipshits. Let's go to that league then. That could change everything. Now the starters are a little different. I get it. I still get it. Go ahead though. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just pointing that out. Definitely on the older side of the team, right?
This is a similar thing, but not nearly as great of a build. But this makes sense though. Again, still. So you got T-Law and Dak, right? You've got the quarterbacks, you've got the team there, but you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, and Keenan Allen. So it's like, all right, I got Keenan Allen. That's already a very small, narrow bet, right? Let me double down. Let me see if these guys both can hit for one season. I attach that with Kamara, Derrick Henry, and Evan Ingram. Like, let's go make this push, man. Let's go make this push with this team. Fuck it. Like, Terry's probably not going to be the one. Let me go make this push. I get it.
I get you. Yep. A little bit more clear. Now we got the right one. Dynasty Dipshits.
Dynasty
Not
Dipshits.
douchebags.
Good.
Big difference.
By the way, good pool. Not just the dipshits and the douchebags, but the, pulling that up right there. I was going to read it all wrong. I love that.
I got you, buddy.
All right, Peter. Little Peter. 12-team Superflex PPR, half tight end premium, lineup start 10. We're in the lineups, all in the lineups today. Bills Ring camera. I like that. Bills Ring camera. All right. DeAndre Swift and Deontay, Mike. So, I think DeAndre Swift's like a 6th-round startup pick. Deontay's more like a 9th, 10th. For the 109, which it's the tier of you didn't get the top 8. Let's just call that what 109 is to me. You didn't get the top 8, right? Not saying that you shouldn't care about this value, this pick, but this is, to me, pretty clearly after you, like, Brock's gone and those great quarterbacks are gone. But even still here, I'm not saying I want that side. I'm just saying talking about what this pick is. Where are you at here on this? I have a feeling where you're going to be, but where are you at?
109.
Okay, I thought so.
Easily. I'm not breaking that pick up already in May. Just not.
Yeah. What's interesting is that at this point in the year, we haven't had our rookie draft yet. I wonder when they have it. I'm going through here right now just to see. Deontay's the 1008. And Swift is the 701. Okay. Now, like, while I'll talk about those startup values, so the 109, for example, if you took Brian Thomas, realistically, that's a 6'10". Like, that's not going to be much better, right? If you took a lad. But here's the thing, I think, inherently for me, with this pick, if you wanted to play the safer side of, like, listen, I'm just going to not bet on rookie production. Like, if we're going to kind of go the Warp Koopa route, right? Let me get a running back that could end up being on a great offense and a guy that I think is going to get peppered with targets. Full PPR league. I get it, right? You're getting off of the rookie asset, but to me, Mike, the boom of a guy like Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, and what that might appeal to somebody in a trade right now for the next 2-3 months especially, or what I'm probably doing, frankly, is taking one of these, quarterbacks. Let me get a fucking Michael Penix here. Let me get a Bo Nix here. Can't do it, man. Just cannot do this. I want the 109.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I had to pull it up too, right? We get the Bills Ring camera, and then sometimes on the lab it doesn't show the name, and people change names in their leagues like it's going out of style. It's kind of like those people who always got to put nicknames for all their players on Sleeper.
I like that.
Like, good for you, but I just know I probably fucking hate you.
I mean, if you're in a league with Mike, frankly, like, he hates you because he's trying to win. I can't do this, man. I can't do this, nah.
If you're Thunder and Turd in this league, which is his team is terrible.
Well, I see why.
His team is terrible. Yeah, I'm good just sending away old shitters that are just give me the 109, man. Just give me the 109. I don't know what he took with it. I assume Ladd or Pearsall. Let's go Ladd.
It's got to be Ladd, yeah. Definitely Ladd.
So Ladd, McConkey, or Deontay and Swift.
I'll tell you right. See, this is the thing, Mike. I still probably lean Ladd, but to me, that's probably like the case and scenario for me. Like Ladd would not be my 109, which makes it a different conversation again, right? But like even there, I just want to say when I was saying 701 for DeAndre Swift and Deontay's a receiver that realistically, even if he has a great season, he can't go up that much in dynasty value. Like he's probably not going to ever pass a 7th round pick ever again. DeAndre Swift could, but he's going to have to stay healthy and smash. I just want to say with DeAndre Swift being the most valuable piece in this deal as an older running back on a second contract, like that's what kills it for me, right? If you told me that that's a receiver that's more meaningful in the 7th round, 6th round of startups, totally separate conversation. DeAndre Swift as a value in this trade is just not it for me, man. Like I'm just good. I'll go get a different running back that's not DeAndre Swift.
And if you're Peter with his roster build in this one and you're already going into it as like a bottom half of the team, like this feels like the guy who's just clawing to possibly make the playoffs in that kind of move. Like you got to, hey man, Kenny Rogers, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You should have just held this one. Like we good. Let's kind of see how this draft shakes out, and then I'll make a decision. I'm not in fucking May, Adam. I'm not deciding that I'm taking a bottom half of the team and like I'm making a playoff push. Like I'm good. I'm good. Let me keep my flexibility. Let me keep the assets that people are clamoring for right now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely.
Sorry,
I'm
Peter.
definitely good, man. Sorry, buddy. But
So yeah, because Deontay and Swift both like slotted right into his lineup in the start 10. You know, like when they both go right in. You know, one goes to the RB2 spot, the other one goes to the flex. It's like,
so
good.
the final thing I'll say about it is, this is a trade that can totally pay off for you. It's just not the bet I'm willing to make. You know what I mean? Like I'm not willing to make the bet on a receiver that feels very purchasable and replaceable, as well as a running back of this ilk. Yep. You know, like,
he doesn't have his first and 25 either. Like, could that have been a possibility where you take that 109 and do something to try to get your first back too, to give you that flexibility if I do fail? For
sure. I'll say though that the reality of this trade probably means that there's a reason that 25 first was already gone too. Like I'm looking that you're trying to force this fucker to compete, which I got no problem with how people, if you want to go compete and you want to be a team that's like not ever truly rebuilding, you want to kind of retool things on the fly. I understand all that. These are two guys. I just want to say this, Mike. 109. Now, Ladd McConkey's an interesting case because if it's Ladd, right? I think the problem there is Ladd's not value insulated. Like he could actually go down with a bad season if he didn't get the targets and he didn't earn. His value could go down. But DeAndre Swift and Deontay Johnson both are swimming way upstream as far as their dynasty values go. Right?
Tough.
The floor could fall out on both of those players for sure. And I'm just not willing to get those type of guys for a 109 in this great class.
Hard pass, especially when I can get something with a little bit of insulation, whether it's Ladd or not. That was probably the wrong pick for the other guy who actually made the Ladd pick. But, a Bo Nix, a Penix, a McCarthy if he fell, Brock Bowers, just I don't believe in tight ends, but most people do. That kind of insulation, that kind of excitement. That's kind of what I want to hold on my roster, at least for the next month or two. I don't want to hold somebody where it's like, hey, Deontay Johnson's going to miss the start of the season because he pulled his hamstring in training camp. And it's like, oh, fuck.
Injuries to eat. For the record, right, this is kind of like splitting tens. Now, it's not as high of a degree of a great hand of a 20, right? But you're splitting the asset. The problem is, Mike, when you split those tens, I don't know if you've ever done this. I'm sure if you play blackjack enough. You split those tens, it seems cool, right? Because you want to get that 10 and 10. You want to get that king and queen paint. But if you hit that 10, and either one of these two, right? Here's what you have to remember about the split. If either one of those two gets injured and craters, you now have, let's even say you still have a 10 and a 10. You could have a 10 and a 4, a 10 and a 6 all of a sudden. Like that's what you're looking at. You could have a totally negated. You could end up totally splitting this deal where you have one asset not worth a first and the other one worth a turd. Like that's the problem for me with this is I don't have somebody that gives me any type of safety in this splitting of this hand.
Yeah. I'm good. Sorry,
out.
Peter.
Sorry, buddy.
Listen,
I'm not
sorry to
sorry,
some of the
actually.
Patriots who had shows or trades in this show because we have not been kind to most of them. Other than Mr. Wonderful, who's just out here stealing from people.
I apologize for nothing. I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. And if you don't like it, listen. This ain't the show for you because we fucking tell you. It's like Fizzle says. If your trade's an F, you getting roasted. So
You get roasted. I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely nobody.
No one. Yep. Fuck yeah, buddy. Peter, I know you'll do better next time. Come correct. But outside of that, man, I thought it was a good trade show. There was, I'll say, the Adams and McLaurin one was like, okay, I can make the case there, either side.
Yeah.
Other than that, I felt like, though, this was a trade show of one-siders, man. Like, I want one side of this deal every other time than that Adams and Terry one, which was I think in the scenario of either team, I can see the Terry or the Devontae Adams thing. I think in lineup start 9, though, I'm shooting my shot. Fuck that third.
I would ask you like who's making the thumbnail, but we got this new thing where we got some headshots, so maybe this is a perfect time with no consensus.
I think we maybe do a we put our headshots up, me and you, and we're gonna go like a first or some of these turd burger type, running backs or maybe even a rookie pick, something like what are we taking here? But the reality is, you stayed through this part. You know exactly what we're taking here. There's basically one side of any of the deals that we wanted, except for one.
For sure.
So
For sure.
if you want to come on here, you want to pay $5 a month to have your trade absolutely shattered into smithereens in front of everybody, feel free. Patreon.com/South Harmon. If you do want to flex like Mr. Wonderful, we don't really try to applaud that behavior, but it happens here on South Harmon. So that's all I got, buddy. Anything for you, Mike?
No, that's all I got. We're going to be changing up the content, right? So this is kind of the first official day, but a lot more stuff. Go check out the podcast because we got a lot of podcast exclusive content that's really, really good. America's Game, 4D Chess. We're going to have a new show popping up here. Make sure you're checking out Fizzle Show on Friday night. So good. so good. Have such a good time on that
Fizzle
show.
Friday, baby.
Yeah, man. It's going to be sad when he replaces me with you eventually. He's going to have like a week where you come on and I'm going to feel lost. But it's okay. It's okay.
No, it's going to be great. Listen, I'll just say this. I've watched both of them, not all during the time. Both times I've come on, it's already fucking in great like gas mode. It's already... Like, I got big shoes to fill.
I've set the bar high.
I got big shoes to fill in this guest role. I'm going to come in a little intimidated, a little like, not sure where to put my hands, kind of like Ricky Bobby.
Just play the BBL Jersey song. You'll be good.
I feel like what I do definitely know is this is one of those point guard situations. I'm more of a shooter, Mike. I like to come in and shoot, but this is more of those like, let me come in and delegate, get Fizzle set up and let him kind of take the show. He's killing this thing. He's a good star of this show for sure.
But check it out, and then launching next week after you watch this. Solo vids. We got a new video editor, Brian. Good fucking guy. So we'll get to see all his fantastic work that he's about to put out. Starting next week, Monday, Memorial Day.
Yeah, man, big thing
Crack you
coming
open
here.
a beer, play some golf, or do whatever you do on Memorial Day.
Oh yeah, Mike. I'll tell you right now, I'm missing the days of playing golf. I'm gonna get out there. I played 9 holes. 9 holes is like, I feel like 9 holes is just not even getting it done. It's kind of like doing, if we did a trade show of like 3 trades. Like, I'm just getting in the mood of doing the trade show. So I'm going to play around for sure.
I'm missing it. If it's not fucking raining around here, I'm going to take the Mustang out, drive with the windows down, turn the music up loud, stomp on the gas, let 640 horsepower eat, let's go.
Let's do it, man. We'll do American type things on Memorial Day,
V8 muscle.
Shout out to all the vets, buddy. But we appreciate everybody tapping in. We'll see you back here, same time, same place for the Dynasty Trade Show. Make sure you're tapping into the Spotify or the Apple Podcast, whatever it is, for the podcast feed if you're not already subbed to that. See you back here. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.